Hey guys, today I'm going to show you 3 lo-fi drum patterns that changed my life. Drums are the backbone of lo-fi, and you must make sure that your drums are on point in order to pull this genre off. And the good news is that after this video, you'll have 3 useful drum patterns to add to your arsenal. Right before we jump into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to one of my students, Rich Miller, who just landed a deal with Universal Music. Universal Music is by far one of the biggest labels that any of my production students have ever landed a deal with. This is a huge win for the community. You can check out Rich Miller's music and show him some support by looking him up on Spotify at Rich Miller. Let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. This first pattern is super chill, but it has some ambient character to it. I'm going to start out with right in the kick. And I'm going to make the length of this kick pattern 4 bars long. So let's go ahead into the kick and put one kick on the first bar, and then the second one is going to go in between the these thick lines here. We're actually going to take this and just duplicate it throughout the pattern. So it looks repetitive, but it's actually not that bad. Let's go ahead and drop the snare. I'm going to make this pattern 4 bars long, and each snare is going to go on the quarter beat. So that means 2 snares per bar. We're just going to replicate this for the rest of the 4 bars. The snare sound I'm using is a rim shot, which is the most common type of snare used in lo-fi. Now we're going to make a nice chill hi-hat line. For our hi-hat line, we're going to make a 1/8 pattern, which means we're going to have 8 hi-hat hits per 1 bar. So here is 1 bar in length, and this is 8 hi-hat hits. Now, before we move on, we have to select these hi-hats, shorten them a little bit, and we're going to add some 1/8 note swing by taking this swing slider here. And you can see as I push this to the right, every other hi-hat pushes off grid. It creates an imperfect rhythm, but it adds a lot of groove to it. It's a really cool sound. I highly recommend to practice it on your own time. Now we're going to add a ride cymbal that's doing a triplet rhythm just to add some nice counter beat. And this one can get repetitive, so what I'm going to do is just alter the velocities so that they're all different and not too perfect. Finally, I'm going to take the middle one of both of these patterns and swing it just a little bit. For this next pattern, I'm going to use a different piece of music. I have a guitar melody from my guitar pack called Guitar Suite. Sounds like this. Nice gloomy melody, and I also chopped up some vocals that I found on splice.com. This next pattern has some crazy groove in the kick. It's a little bit trickier to pull off, but when you do pull it off, your life will change, and so will your listeners. So let's go ahead and make a 4 bar drum pattern. We're going to have the first kick right on the first bar, and the next kick is going to miss the second bar. So if we put it on the second bar but move it over a quarter beat, we'll get that. Then we're going to have a kick on beat 3 and a quarter beat in from 3 and then a quarter beat in from 4. So just missing the beat on beat number 2 and 4 adds some crazy swing and groove. It's super fun. So let's go ahead and add a snare And because we're at 140 BPMs and not 70, it sounds better to use a snare in half beat. Again, I'm using a rim shot because it's the most common snare in lo-fi. For this hi-hat line, we're going to make a 1/4 note pattern. So we're going to have 4 hi-hat hits per single bar. So once we write them out, we can shorten them, and then we could take every other hi-hat and just mess with the velocities so that they're all different. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all and add a 1/4 note swing. So you can see when I pull this slider, they move off of the grid. Now what we have to do is we have to make sure that our hi-hats that are swung line up with our kicks that are on the same beat as the hi-hat. So if we look here, our hi-hat is off of the grid while our kick is on grid. And that's going to mess up the whole magic of the swing beat. So what we're going to do is make sure that we swing our kicks so that they match the hi-hat. That looks good. And then I'm going to do the same thing down on this quarter beat. And then the same thing down here. Now if we play it back, everything should be perfectly in unison. Delicious. This next pattern is all about the shaker, and it's really good for a faster paced yet chill lo-fi beat. So let's go ahead and write the kick. For this kick pattern, we're going to make it 4 bars long as usual. And then we're going to have a kick right on the first bar. Then we're going to have a kick on the second bar, third bar, and fourth bar. But on the second bar, we're going to have a second kick, a quarter bar in. We're going to do the same thing for the fourth bar. So our kick sounds like this. And our snare is going to be a half beat snare. We should be rockets at this by now. And the life in this beat comes from the hi-hat. It's going to be an 8th note rhythm. And every other shaker, I'm going to lighten up on the velocity. Let's shorten up these hi-hats, lengthen them 4 bars, and then we're going to take them and add some 1/8 note swing. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you would like to learn more about every element of music production, whether it's songwriting, melody writing, chord writing, or mixing and mastering, come join me in my EDM Bootcamp course. My EDM Bootcamp course is not just a 6-week course that teaches you every element of music production, but it's also an entire back-end community where you can ask me any music production question that you would like and send me your songs for unlimited track feedback. If that sounds like something you're into, go ahead and check out the link at the top of the description below, and I'll see you in there.